Here we are, guys, an improbable Game 3 between Dekzeh and Sstj. What a series it has been. Go back and watch the first two games if you haven't already. Dekzeh ragdolls Sstj in the first game. Dekzeh looking like the better player throughout the series, winning Game 2 pretty handily. Sstj with 2 freezes, a focus punch crit, and a miracle critical hit at the end is somehow going to steal Game 2 and send us here, and this game is for the spot. Quick reminder, we're still taking donations. If you have been entertained by this tournament so far, if you're going to enjoy the main event, if you want to support this tour, support the ADV community, support the players, please consider donating to CALLOUS Invitational. 100% of your donation goes to the prize pool and supports the players. I keep absolutely nothing. Zero. It is all for the players. So absolutely, if you care about competitive ADV, if you want this tour to return next year, please consider supporting us. Let's find out which one of these guys, Brazilian Dekzeh, Chinese Sstj, who will be in the main event of CALLOUS Invitational 4. It comes down to this game. Switching sides for continuity one final time. Dekzeh on the bottom, Sstj on the top. Unusual Gengar lead against a way more standard T-Tower lead for Sstj. Gengar lead almost always means Dugtrio in the back, but Sstj, instead of playing around a boom and then a Dugtrio sequence, instead goes to Blissey, which would have gotten killed by the follow-up Dugtrio had Dekzeh gone for that, but they both switched. Spikes for Dekzeh, now taunt against Cloyster, preventing his spikes, which is what Sstj naturally went for. That's the standard and correct play for Sstj to not rapid spin there, and now Gengar comes in case he does spin. He goes for Surf, which is correct for Sstj. If he's going to stay in, that's the only play. Gengar coming in to block rapid spin is obvious, and that's a noob mistake had he gone for that. And now Skarm comes back in, finds himself against a Gengar on the other side as well. So both of them are opting for a Spikes plus Gengar to protect the Spikes strategy. And there's a nice critical hit on turn 6 for Sstj, taking out Skarm immediately from 100%. That was relevant, and that's a big edge for Sstj. Blissey's going to come in, stepping on the Spike. Gengar, what now? That might not be weird for new gen players, but let me remind you, in Gen 3, Shadow Ball is physical. That is not boosted by Gengar's amazing special attack stats, so that is highly unconventional, if not outright janky, here in Gen 3. Shadow Ball Gengar, and it's not choice banded either. Gengar does have some nice physical moves. Stabs Shadow Ball, stacks Sludge Bomb, regular Focus Punch, Explosion, but CBGAR sucks. For clarification, but this is even worse. This is a physical Gengar that doesn't have choice band, so I really don't know what we're seeing here. But the bad luck continuing here for Dekzeh. There's a Fire Punch and a Meteor Mash miss. Now Starmie's going to come in, and now Fire Punch comes down again, obviously trying to finish off the Metagross. Starmie took it just fine. Starmie's buffeted by the sand first. He's faster, may or may not have Psychic, but either way, Blissey comes in. And it is Psychic, so good thing for Sstj. He got out of the way. He would have lost his Gengar there. Blissey's going to go for the obvious soft-boiled here. We'll see what Dekzeh wants to do. Skarm would be great if he still had it, but he doesn't. And he's going to go to Meta instead, which Sstj has not shown a reliable switch-in for. But surely a lot of the things that he has shown, actually everything other than the Zapdos just now, really doesn't overly want to switch into Meta. Here's Meteor Mash, 34%. Non-lefties Metagross, as we saw earlier. Zapdos comes in, Jolteon comes in, Thunderbolt, Volt Absorb doesn't matter because he's at full health, but obviously that's a do-nothing turn for Sstj. He has that Blissey switch if he wants it, and he's going to stay in. Is he Thunder Waving? He is. Jolteon is going to be way less effective without its speed. He relies on his very, very high base speed stat quite a bit. He's going to be a lot more vulnerable without that. Here comes Bliss, and here comes full power. That might have just been a Thunderbolt or a BP turn. BP does matter against Blissey. Thunderbolt doesn't really, but Jolteon is not going to win this matchup 1v1. He stays in anyway, and it is a BP. There's Ice Beam, And here's Metagross, which of course is safe because the Jolteon took the Ice Beam for him. So now Meta's got an opportunity to do damage. Here comes Cloyster that does not take Meteor Mashes all that well. And yeah, there's a 42% Meteor Mash. That crappy Ice typing negating what would otherwise be a resisted attack. Meteor Mash and Spikes. So one layer for both guys, but Cloyster obviously is not going to survive another Meteor Mash. In fact, he doesn't even survive the Sand. And we end up in a 5-5. SSTJ goes to his own meta, which is the last poke previously unrevealed. Great double switch for SSTJ, outplaying Dekzeh there, baiting out an explosion, but immediately going to Gengar. Great play for SSTJ. He is playing like he wants that spot. I feel like Dekzeh has been the better player throughout the series, but SSTJ has brought his A game in this game 3, and he's looking good. He's got a 5-3 lead. Dekzeh pretty far behind now. SSTJ, despite the miracle that it took to get here, might earn this one, and he might earn himself the spot. Dekzeh is going to have to make something happen. He is absolutely behind here. 5-3, favoring SSTJ. Blissey comes in. There is nothing preventing a soft boiled other than Ice Beam Freeze, which he doesn't even go for. It is Psychic and Thunderbolt respectively. I don't like the Thunderbolt because it enables a physical sweeper to come in here. I think soft boiled was the better play, but we'll see. There's the last poke T-Tower for Dekzeh, which is a physical sweeper like I was talking about. DD Tower, if it is that, would be very dangerous for Dekzeh here, and that's exactly what it is. This game is not over yet. DD Tower is very threatening to SSTJ, who does not have a bulky water. There's the Earthquake knockout. All of a sudden, SSTJ, who's been ahead all game, might be in some trouble. He goes to his own Tyranitar. That's knocked out by Earthquake. Oh man, this might be a back sweep from the DD Tower for Dekzeh. Rock Slide miss here going to be necessary, and that's if he doesn't have Ice Beam. SSTJ in trouble. Rock Slide connects. He had a 10% chance to miss, but he doesn't. Now Gengar is going to need a Rock Slide miss, and even then I don't know that he can kill the T-Tar. It doesn't have lefties either, so he can't even hypnotize it. He would need an HP Grass critical hit. He goes Will-O-Wisp. He gets Rock Slid. All of a sudden, it's only Blissey remaining for SSTJ. That's not going to be able to survive. It's a 28%. Rock Slide is not even going to miss because it's going to be Earthquake. And Dekzeh, just like that, flash in the pan, is going to make the comeback with the DD Tower in the back. SSTJ brings game 3, a team with no bulky water. And he gets punished in the worst way. The exact set, the exact Pokemon that Dekzeh needed to have. DD Tower, the perfect Pokemon in that situation, and SSTJ not able to deal with it. He simply gets swept by it. It doesn't even need a second Dragon Dance. One is good enough. SSTJ defeated. Wow. What a series. What a series. Man, I almost want to go back and watch those games. Game 1, like I said, all Dekzeh. Game 2, Dekzeh looked like the better player. And then just miracle luck, combination of luck for SSTJ. Game 3, SSTJ makes a bit of an adjustment, runs the team a bit different than his usual, which I give him credit for. Made a couple of good plays. I was especially impressed by the Metagross into Gengar sequence, baiting the boom for Dekzeh, which was great. SSTJ built a nice lead, 5-3. It looked like he had it, and Dekzeh, with the miracle comeback, has the exact poke that he needs, exploits the weakness in SSTJ's team, and Dekzeh wins his play-in bracket Group B and earns the spot. He will be in the CALLOUS Invitational 4 main event. SSTJ, with a respectable, commendable showing, is going to be the runner-up of this group. He will not be in the main event this year, but he is relatively new to the scene, and if he keeps up at the pace that he's been going, there's a great chance that you will see him somewhere in play-ins or maybe the main event this time next year. All that being said, Dekzeh looked to me like the better player in this set. Very similar to what I said in Roses versus Gary Oak. Regardless of matchups, regardless of luck, all that stuff, throw that out the window for a minute. Looking at the eye test, which of these guys in this test do I think played better? I think it was Dekzeh. Honestly, I mean, he probably should have won game 2, so you could argue that this actually should have been a 3-0 as opposed to a 2-1 for Dekzeh. As such, while I absolutely respect and appreciate Sstj, as far as I am concerned, Dekzeh does deserve this. The better player got the job done, and Dekzeh will play in his 4th CALLOUS Invitational. He was invited to all 3 of the previous, straight to the main event. He was invited this time to the main event. He chose to play in play-ins. He got through his bracket, and he has earned his way to play in his 4th consecutive CALLOUS Invitational 4 main event, where he will, as always, be a dangerous player. Alrighty, guys. That means there is only one more play-in set to complete. That is going to be between Techless and Roses. That is, I mean, I'm recording this an hour before that is supposed to take place. So by the time you see this on YouTube, it will have already happened. But that's going to be coming up next on YouTube. Whoever wins that, they're going to be in the main event, and that is going to be it. We are going to be on to the main event in a little over a week, and I am just as excited as all of you guys are. Thank you for watching. Thumbs up if you liked it, and I will see you soon with Techless versus Roses for the final spot in the main event.